all these people start sharing it. But hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Listen, I know I'm coming back for a second time. We cutting up tonight, but some of the classy climbers that are left behind because of the storm, I'm gonna go eat late night dinner with them. So at some point, I'm gonna have to roll on out of here. But I had to do this one because your boy, yeah boy, there's a couple stories here that um, life almost imitates art. Like I will say that Value Entertainment, a couple other people did a story on Andrew Tate and said, "Oh man, he can't be banned, he can't be blockable," which is kind of funny, when somebody gets that famous because all of a sudden 3 days later he was blocked, and so people are under this dude's video like that aged badly. And then I said, also Fetty Wap is getting 5 years, and I said I made a post earlier about we have to be exposing these young kids to real life and the suburban life, right? If we make the joke about Jordan Peterson and several, Childish Gambino, J. Cole, all this stuff. This suburban culture is pushing back because again, 52% of all Black people live in rural areas or the suburbs since the 1950s. So there is this quiet, I feel like in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, it was cool to tell people you're from the hood, you're from the inner city, you're from all this mess, and you really was from the suburbs. Even Dr. Dre, let's keep it a buck. Dr. Dre, all these people in California, they were living in the suburbs with parents. But if you'd have heard their music, you're like, man, these people in the hood, up to no good, Inglewood, right? You're like, man, this is amazing. And this is where this culture is now like, this is dumb because it's just too much internet. It's too much internet. Y'all gonna get taken to jail. But before we hop into Fetty Wap and your boy Andrew Tate, before we go there on the merits of banning people and why it's controversial to ban folks and how it just always backfires, I'm gonna hit y'all with the PPP because see, a lot of y'all like, well, they got them 87,000 agents to get the PPP people. No, honey, they coming for everybody. This is a war on your money. I keep telling y'all being silly. This is a war for your money. So we're gonna go over that. But before we hit that, I want my guest to introduce himself to the audience. Please do, sir.
Grand Rising, Queen Ericka. How you doing? I'm CAMARI, Ellis, the Finance Rebel. Just kidding around, y'all. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to anybody who's watching this. I like to hang out with Ericka, talk shop, talk black money, talk black culture, and see what's good, shake up things a little bit.
So you guys know we back. Drop your city and state in the chat. There's 76 people here so far. Listen, he said we trying to talk about this culture. I'm trying to figure out how we got from drug dealer culture to drug user. Me too. Even the emo culture, like Kid Cudi for a while. I was like, baby, get that help. Get that help, Kid Cudi. Look at Kamar. That's why I bring him on because he's not just gonna yes man me. He gonna tell me what he think, and that's why. Hey, listen, I bring that Philly energy. Go ahead, okay?
Nah, listen, I don't want to bring the Philly energy. The
It's
Philly
too
energy
strong
right now is not God's energy. So,
Oh Lord.
listen, we had 20 shootings, 3 deaths over the weekend, and Philly is the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. But I don't know what in the world is going on. Like it's almost like the Wild Wild West to a large degree, and to the community member who said we went from drug dealer culture to drug user culture. It's all bad, right? But one was trying to make a better way, allegedly. The other is just like trying to escape reality.
That part.
And it's just like, yeah, like what is going on? I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot of craziness going on out here. It's like we're in the book of Revelations and the mark of the beast is upon us.
It's very much escapist at all cost,
Yep.
whether it's Instagram, YouTube. Again, that leads somewhat into our conversation on Andrew Tate and these people. It's escapism via people.
Yes.
So we make these people these, you had men, Kevin Samuels, yes, brother, and they would call his show and be unemployed, living at their mom's house. And he'd be like, baby, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
You need to go get a job and work 60 hours a week. But those people identify that person as their message. It's my message.
Yeah, but there was also a lot of people who called him Kevin Samuel's show who didn't have a job that idolized him like he was God too. So celebrity culture, in my opinion, is just totally out of control. it's always been here,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but look at some of the great prophets. We can look at Jesus. They were celebrities to some level, and they got elevated. But now it's just like totally out of control. It's just like really weird, like really weird.
It gets out of balance because people are out of balance. People don't have a community, right? Or and this is something this man had said, and I'm gonna get ready to the PPP, y'all. But this man said it used to be each guy could go home from work and be grumpy and tell his wife about it and his kids and his family. Well, a lot of these men they don't have no wives. They don't have no kids. Who they telling they grumpy day to? The
Somebody
internet.
on Facebook.
There you go. So it's not that this is uncommon. I grew up, my dad was griping about army and work, and my mom griped about army and work, and my uncles griped about army and work, but they weren't on the internet griping about army and work.
Right.
They were telling us at the cookout on Saturday. They were telling us at family stuff.
Or
So
at the bar after work.
there you
or
go.
Maybe sitting on the stoop with a beer and just blowing off some steam, but it wasn't broadcast to the world.
That part. So I'm gonna hit the PPP first, y'all, because I think it's the most powerful. And also, our guest is a tax preparer. I mean, I want to say it properly.
Tax professional. I mean,
Tax
enrolled
professional.
agent.
I apologize. Okay, so let's hit this one. This is this woman. I'm gonna be quiet.
Last year, I told y'all that wire fraud carried about 25 years. They had 5 years to catch up on this wire fraud. They no longer have 5 years, they have 10. So they don't have to be in any particular hurry. Now, if you mess with more than one agency across the board, they're going to notify the other ones, get your house in order. See, when you filled out the application, that was a charge. I want to say that was 2 to 5 years, but it's been a while since I did this video. I'm not doing the research. You got to do it. But wire fraud itself, once you had that money transferred into the bank, it was 25 years. Let me tell you what they're looking for, because they finna flag your account. If you had more than one PPP come to your one address, they're going to flag you. If your income tax returns for your business do not line up with what you told the SBA, they're going to flag you. If you didn't have a business registered when you filled out that application, they're going to flag you. If you purchased anything, if you started a business, if you used that money to fund a new business, they're going to confiscate all of it. The equipment, all of it. If you own anything, get it out your fucking name. Transfer that property. Start looking for a place for your children to go, because the United States is in the business of free labor, and they do not mind sending your ass to the penitentiary. They did it for the specific fact of sending you to the penitentiary, and they will bill more. See, this is federal time. You will not seal these records. You got to be pardoned by the governor or the president. You done fucked up. If you have children who took this loan out, take them to see an attorney, because they're going to need it. If it's any time for a family to get together and take care of this thing right here, it's going to be now. Y'all think that this was something small. This was by design. They have people called forecasters that knew who would take the money and how they would get it. They set you up again. Y'all thought I was blowing smoke up y'all ass. He's signing bills in the law to make sure that they have an extended period of time. He done hired a special prosecutor. They firing people at the Chicago Housing Authority. 6,280 people are about to lose their housing and catch a federal charge. They can wipe their ass on their degrees to the tune of $135 million stolen from the SBA. Right now, currently, they have prosecuted about 1,000 cases, and altogether, it's about $1 billion worth of PPP money. I'm going to say it again. Get your house in order, and whatever money you got in the bank, get that goddamn money out the bank. Transfer that property.
Did you?
Let me update y'all.
Hold on,
Last year I told y'all
one more
that wire
time.
fraud carried about 25 years. They had 5 years to catch up on this wire fraud. They no longer have 5 years, they have 10. So they don't have to be in any particular hurry. Now, if you mess with more than one agency across the board, they're going to notify the other ones, get your house in order. See, when you filled out the application, that was a charge. I want to say that was 2 to 5 years, but it's been a while since I did this video. I'm not doing the research. You got to do it. But wire fraud itself, once you had that money transferred into the bank, it was 25 years. Let me tell you what they're looking for, because they finna flag your account. If you had more than one PPP come to your one address, they're going to flag you. If your income tax returns for your business do not line up with what you told the SBA, they're going to flag you. If you didn't have a business registered when you filled out that application, they're going to flag you. If you purchased anything, if you started a business, if you used that money to fund a new business, they're going to confiscate all of it. The equipment, all of it. If you own anything, get it out your fucking name. Transfer that property. Start looking for a place for your children to go, because the United States is in the business of free labor and they do not mind sending your ass to the penitentiary. They did it for the specific fact of sending you to the penitentiary, and they will build more. See, this is federal time. You will not seal these records. You got to be pardoned by the governor or the president. You done fucked up. If you have children who took this loan out, take them to see an attorney, because they're going to need it. If it's any time for a family to get together and take care of this thing right here, it's going to be now. Y'all think that this was something small. This was by design. They have people called forecasters that knew who would take the money and how they would get it. They set you up again. Y'all thought I was blowing smoke up y'all ass. He's signing bills in the law to make sure that they have an extended period of time. He done hired a special prosecutor. They firing people at the Chicago Housing Authority. 6,280 people are about to lose their housing and catch a federal charge. They can wipe their ass on their degrees to the tune of $135 million stolen from the SBA. Right now, currently, they have prosecuted about 1,000 cases, and altogether, it's about $1 billion worth of PPP money. I'm gonna say it again. Get your house in order, and whatever money you got in the bank, get that goddamn money out the bank. Transfer that property.
All right. Listen. Oh wait, I gotta make sure it stopped playing. Hold on. Okay, did y'all hear me? Hit a 1 in the comments. Y'all can hear me right now. Listen, go watch her page. I will say, she talks about credit repair, tax preparation, divine tax pro. She's legit above the board. I'm not vouching for her, but she very much is like, stop playing. She just is no nonsense. And she did that video maybe a month or two ago, and it went viral, and she shared it again because so many people were sharing it. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, y'all. I'm not laughing at people. I'm not.
A lot of facts.
I'm not laughing at people, but I want you to, as a tax professional, because I told y'all, I thought this was a conspiracy to get y'all out of the government contract pool, because they have allotted all this 20-30% fight minorities.
Stop it.
But before they did that, they gave y'all this PPP and this EIDL loan. And remember, I told y'all they were surprised that so many people couldn't qualify for EIDL loan. I said, because y'all wanted people to have 640 credit scores. The average business owner has a 618. Who were they thinking was going to get the EIDL? So anyway, talk to me. You're a professional in this industry. Talk to me.
So I don't believe it was conspiracy. Right?
Forecasters knew.
I don't believe that part. That was the only part of the video I don't disagree with. Everything else, I think spot on. Now, we can debate whether the government does some nefarious things, right? Well, actually, we can't debate it. That's fact. It's known. It's crazy. But that money was available for everybody, right? It wasn't just for blacks. It wasn't just for whites. It wasn't for rich. It wasn't for poor. It was for everybody. Even the NBA got PPP money. Mm-hmm. So I would say it wasn't. And in my
even Cheesecake Factory.
That's right. And many other multi-billion-dollar corporations got a piece of the pie. But what happened was, and I mean, there's a great movie on Tubi called PPP. I'm dedicated. Listen, PPP loan exposed or something like that. People saw that it was an easy lick. The requirements were easy. The second go around after they fixed it, like you said, they were very, very stringent on the credit scoring thing like that. But if your books were in order and you did lie, I don't think you have anything to worry about with PPP. But there were a lot of people, a couple of folks, superstars, housewives of Atlanta. Was it my guy from Florida? Let's say from Pretty Ricky. You know, all these folks making up these fake companies, making up these fake employees, and it's fine. Meaning that they thought it was fine, they thought it was easy, and they went and got it, and they got the money real fast. We are living in this second revolution of the crack era. So they took the money, they thought it was fast. They went and brought blue Lamborghinis. I don't know why blue, but it was so many people that got blue Lamborghinis. It was like mind-boggling. They went and brought all this other stuff, and then he got caught. Yes, there is an FBI task force. That is a fact. Yes, the government agencies will coordinate sometimes, not always, but a lot of times. They will coordinate, and they will make things happen. The IRS works with everybody. The IRS works with the DEA, FBI, ATF, CIA, all the alphabet boys. That's factual. Now, the get your house in order part about the transfer of the money and the transfer of the property. The transfer of the property won't matter. If you got it through ill-gotten gains, it ain't been that long for them not to be able to track it. So that won't really matter at this point. Now, if you sell it and you get the money and you go put it somewhere else, that's a possibility to be able to keep it. But if we talking 25 years, 20 years, I saw the average sentence for a PPP or wire fraud is about 20 years. Most of that money's going to get eaten up by lawyer fees anyway. And if you have a public defendant, you might as well just kiss your ass goodbye anyway. So
I told people, I don't know why these people ain't save an extra $1,000 and go ahead and go over to Mexico. Go ahead and go on over to Belize. Go ahead and go, because Belize got cell phone, phone jobs. You can work at the phone bank. Listen, y'all. Listen. I think it's funny that people think this is just gonna hit PPP because it's like a fishing net. Fishing net gets everybody. Everybody. This is when I told you that QuickBooks has said they needed 10,000 accountants. QuickBooks created a system where you could get their certified training to help business owners, and they would send you business. QuickBooks said they needed 10,000 people to do that. Old boy that blew up off TikTok, Duke, I forgot his last name.
Duke Taxes.
Yeah, Duke Taxes. He was one of those people. He was broke, and he said, "Man, I can do this for free. I can get this certification, and now I'm working with clients." That's how bad it was for QuickBooks. Now, every accountant I talked to during that crazy time of PPP was like, their phone is getting blowed up by Black and Latino business owners for books. And I said, y'all, this should not be, oh no, I got to run to get my books in order. No.
So it wasn't just Black and Latino. It was everybody.
It was everybody. But I mean, the paperwork.
My natural target market is going to be Black folks, right? Yes, I got a lot of Black folks. And for the record, Ericka, you're right. It's not just going to be PPP and EIDL fraud. It's also going to be unemployment fraud as well. I had a lot of people call me. One call in particular, it was like, my niece is looking to file for that extra unemployment for the federal unemployment. If you had a business, if you were a gig worker, or if you had some kind of 1099, you can get it. They didn't have any, so they were going to make it up. A lot of people were making up that they had businesses, just like they did with PPP, just like they're doing with unemployment. So when it's all said and done, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. But
they're saying your volume is low.
My volume is low.
Yeah, you got to push that mic right up to your mouth.
What about now? Is that better?
Yeah, there it is. Just
okay.
Mic to the mouth today.
Mic to
Pause.
Pause. Double pause.
So she said it seems like they're going after people that took out $1 million PPP. So I will say part of that is accurate. It was an automatic flag if you hit $1 million because of the size of your business. Because the average business owner got 100,000 to 350,000. So reason I said Black and Latino is because they were literally dumbfounded that 60% of Black and Latino business owners were not applying for the PPP or the EIDL at first. So there was this big promotion of it.
But you know why, right?
Our paperwork won't together when we don't have
employees. There was another factor.
We don't have employees. We got a bunch of contractors.
There was another factor.
Tell me what it is.
A lot of people thought it was a scam. A lot of people thought what you just said and what the lady just said, they thought it was a setup. Like literally. I had to fight with clients to apply for this. I had to fight with clients to apply for other various loans. Like really, like drag down. I had to cuss people out literally.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a dumb MFer. Get this money.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is getting it. Now, not fraudulently. We don't need to do anything to tip the scales. That's already done for us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people were scared to get the money.
I know people right now not even spending it. They left it in a separate account. They're like, my accountant told me to leave it in a separate account. I'm like, separate account? To do what? Sit there?
Well, they didn't need the money, but they got it just in case. They had it as a blanket. Remember, this was at the height of COVID. Shutdowns all over the place. Nobody knew what the hell was going to happen, myself included. I was telling everybody to save all your money. Don't pay your bills, or just pay the minimums, keep everything on, and then see what's going to happen. Because we never experienced this before. Nothing like this has ever happened. And so even the government got caught with their pants down.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's rough. But I don't think there's this grand conspiracy to lock up black people for this thing. We can talk about it for some other things, but not this thing.
Hotep. Listen, so here's my thoughts on so he said Kanye West got the PPP. A lot of people did, but this is the thing: as a person who had 15 employees and an office and having to keep it running, and people are like, oh, these greedy business owners. I'm like, don't you want us to pay people? Don't you want us to keep people on staff? I kept all the paperwork. Like, we got boxes of paperwork because I was just like, well, if they come back and ask something, because they still charge you even if they forgive you, y'all. So that was part of the document.
But I'm sure you have great bookkeeping, right?
Oh, excellent.
So
I mean, we had QuickBooks on top of QuickBooks on top of QuickBooks.
Right. So you can prove that you pay for your employees, right? Even if you were self-employed, you were considered employee. So you're good, Ericka.
Plus,
if
they
not,
had.
we're going to get free Ericka t-shirts.
No, Ericka gonna be in Bali. Like, I don't know what's going on with the news, y'all. But me and my babies is over here eating good. So I'm a big believer in America is a beautiful, wonderful country of opportunity, but there's no way you would lock me up in an American system. No way. That's just I believe we lock people up for exorbitant years and then release them with no kind of safety net. Right?
Agreed.
A lot of the homeless black men you're meeting in their 50s and 60s are people who got released from jail and mama's dead. This is like
and
literally here in
Austin.
Austin.
There's also a lot of 50-year-olds who've been standing on the corner drinking wine or smoking crack that ain't been to jail either.
That part too. That's true.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're releasing people out of jail with no safety net or putting them in a halfway house, and that just that to me, that's not justice. So and I come from a cop family, so we've had these arguments.
It ain't been about justice for a long time. Right. It's what do they call it? The prison industrial complex. Yeah. It's about money.
Part of my frustration with this also is y'all were smart enough to figure out how to start paperwork. You went on YouTube, you Googled, you learned real quick how to make an LLC on paper. I even know a person that's I would say a tax-ish professional, and I was on the phone with her and she tried to say, yeah, this money was for people to start businesses, and I've helped 10 people. I said, girl, stop talking to me on this phone. Stop talking to me on this phone for the feds come knock on our door. She the first person I'm snitching on. If I go to jail, I'm snitching on her first. I'll be like, look, this woman told me this.
I'm not playing. Deal in advance, huh?
Already in advance. I already got 3 or 4 people. I'm be like, I've got information. Bring me the Popeyes chicken. Actually, bougie, give me the KFC chicken and some Coca-Cola, some Dr. Pepper. I'm ready to talk.
All right.
So again, they said transfer property, right? You're saying that that's not gonna work either.
No,
that's not gonna work.
Okay.
No, y'all,
the transfer, it's ill-gotten gains.
There you go.
So I mean, listen, one of the biggest things was when these DAs were taking grandma's home because her grandson was selling crack in the house. Illegal forfeitures. And they were using this as profit centers, meaning these DAs were making money off the sale of these properties. Transfer wouldn't matter. If they say you got it from ill-gotten gains, you got it from ill-gotten gains. So
For sure.
it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
noticed.
and let me
Go ahead.
clarify this because they're saying transfer property depending on the
Mm-hmm.
timeline, right? We're talking about in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
FBI task force is already in play. You're
Mm-hmm.
not transferring this property without them being able to not know about it. Because best believe, if you did major fraud, they already know who you are. When that sister said contact a lawyer, she wasn't lying about that. I agree with that 1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
If you did fraud, you know you made up. I don't know if we can cuss on your show. If you made up some stuff, right, and it's for the 6 figures, 7 figures, yeah, you need to go contact a lawyer right now. Don't play no games.
Mm-hmm. We got. Are they going after folks who got $10,000? A lot of Uber drivers got 12,000. So, I mean, I think they mean anybody who fraudulently applied. Period.
Right.
I may be incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you got 10,000, it'll probably fall under the net, maybe allegedly, right? Air quotes here. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you didn't truly commit fraud, you have nothing to worry about.
There you
I
go.
don't care if it's $5, 5,000, 50,000, 5 million. You're good.
So Diamond Dave said, I read an article about someone who got 20K and they gave him 1 year and 1 day in prison. Ooh, that's that. Listen, my whole thing is, can I just pay y'all back? That's that to them. I'm saying, like, let me pay you back. That's crazy.
Well, they're trying to set a precedent, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, she said she thought it was. Listen, she said there were billboards and signs on buses out here in SoCal advertising PPP loans.
Yep.
People said they thought it were a scam. America isn't a country; it's a corporation. You already know. They will follow the money trail. Oh, thank you so much. Lamar was at the party. Thank you, Lamar. That's so nice. Did you be able to make it out? Listen, some of y'all got stuck at the airport today, yesterday. If you still stuck in Austin, please message us. We feel really sorry for that. You know, we have the tropical storm coming through down here.
Yeah, the weather's crazy all over the country.
This dude said corned beef sandwich with Dr. Pepper. I'm gonna be singing like a canary. Look what this person said. Most of the people I know did PP fraud up here in New York and New Jersey fled to Atlanta. They trying to get low cost of living. They had to get moving money.
I don't know. It seems like Atlanta's cost of living is getting higher and higher.
It is. It's a part of. Even now, people are like, I'm gonna move to San Antonio. I'm like, they taking money and building all up over San Antonio right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. So I think we hit that. Now I'm going to listen, y'all. Let me go ahead and get this up on the screen. Now, some of you may not be into the musics, like and my whole thing is, you know, I'm gonna hit Fetty Wap, then I'm gonna hit Tate, because it just don't make no sense. Okay, so you guys, you young people out there, do you guys know who Fetty Wap is? Fetty to the Wap.
Trap queen.
Fetty Wap out here. I'm gonna skim up this article. So this is Fetty Wap, and then Fetty Wap. Why am I upset with Fetty Wap? Fetty Wap's been on the real, making real money, making real music money, legit money, and then trying to buy massive amounts of drugs to run a drug operation. I'm gonna kind of skim over the article. I don't want to misquote it. And he did a plea deal. November, he said he ain't guilty. November 21st, he was arrested. And he said, I'm not guilty. Well, no, a little bit before November, but I'm not guilty. Put up a $500,000 bond. And then now he's taking a plea. And the plea is a mandatory 5 years. Now, it was 5 to 10, but it's 5 for him. Mandatory 5 years. And my thoughts are, like, where...
Both him and his co-defendant took the deal.
Yes. Thank you for the clarification. His response, of course, is like, well, if it ain't life, it ain't forever. And I want y'all to understand, 5 years of your life is a long time. Heroin, fentanyl, other drugs, as well as carrying and using firearms. He was, let me just read it. Sorry, I apologize. New Jersey-based rapper. And y'all know New Jersey is tough on y'all. Tough on crime up there. Fetty Wap is currently in a very tough spot. A few weeks ago, Fetty Wap was set to perform new songs on stage from his album The Butterfly Effect at the Rolling Loud in New York City. Again, New York City, toughest city in the world on guns, okay? But he was arrested by the feds upon his arrival to the stadium. He was ultimately charged with dealing heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs, as well as carrying and using firearms. He was released on 500K bond and faces life in prison if convicted to the fullest extent of the law. It's just like, okay. He says loyalty can be both a great trait and a deadly one. Choose wisely who you stand with, but never change what you stand for. Never bend, never fold, wrote the rapper. Head up like a nosebleed. I'm on borrowed time. If it ain't life, it ain't forever. I'll be back wiser and smarter. He's already got his eye glued on his return. He's thinking positively for the situation.
There was a mad pun there.
Y'all. This. Here's
but
the
what
thing,
happens when rappers go to prison?
I mean, they be in there like DMX hanging out, I guess. I don't know.
Fetty Wap right now, just looking at Spotify, Fetty Wap right now gets 7.5 million monthly streams.
Right.
So his streams will go up. Now, we all know streams are a little iffy, but what else does he have that he can possibly make money off of?
His story?
Maybe. I hope they don't still owe for that. What was it? 5 keys of coke, 5 keys of heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Hope they don't owe nobody no money for that.
He's like, he had bangers. The funny part is too. I don't even know if he had to pay back the money for that event he didn't do. They said all that for 5 years. He sung like a canary. You already know.
Everybody talks.
Everybody talks.
Everybody's snitching, even though they say they're not.
I think that's why Tammy and him are divorcing. Is she smart? She about to run for it. 7 million streams is like $8.72. See, this is the part of the game they don't talk about, that these artists make money off touring. Anita
Absolutely.
Baker is touring because she did not own her rights of her music, y'all. And she finally got her rights, but she's touring because, the love of it at this point. But that's something they don't really teach y'all. Y'all think, well, I'm going to just make music and the industry's going to take care of me. No, you're going to be touring for the rest of your life. Get that money. And then them 360 deals, they're making money off that too.
Absolutely.
So again, you have to be careful who you hang out with. My biggest thing is there is this, it's almost like a caveman, Mr. Ellis. It's like, who's still touching drugs? I remember the dude from, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. That guy, the comedian hanging from Mr. Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody knows what I'm talking about, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, he does extensive work in California, helping fight against when people get locked up on a bunch of charges, and they be calling him, be like, "Hey, Mr. Mark, can we get help?" And he'd be like, "What's the charge?" He'd be like, "Drugs." He'd be like, "Were you dealing with some drugs?" He's like, "We don't touch drugs." He's like, "Because it's an automatic dumb charge." He's like, "Drugs are dumb charges."
Yep.
Like Mark Curry. Thank you guys so much,
yes.
Mark Curry. And so Mark Curry does all this outstanding work. I did not know till I started reading these articles about how he's so involved in the community out there against police brutality and all this other stuff. But when they call him, if it's a drug charge, he'd be like, "Well, y'all know my rule on that."
Right.
That's too simple. They looking for that every day. Why would you do that?
It's a trap, and a lot of us walk right into it.
It got trap written on it.
Yep.
The house says trap house. And you're like, yes, let me go to it. It's almost like, and I'm gonna touch lightly on this because that's a different show almost. Biggie Small's daughter bonding out this dude who he got stopped by the police. He had a suspended license. Just stop.
He had a hit and run or something like that, right?
No, but this is how it happened. He stopped the car. They took his license, realized it's spinning. We're coming back to the car. He freaks out, hits the gas. There's a woman crossing the street with a stroller.
Oh, God.
And he hits them and keeps going. So if this person's so freaked out from even just a suspended license, I don't know why she thinks she's not gonna lose her home when this boy jumped bail.
Well,
there's this kind of fake culture that I'm a thug, man. But you was scared when the police stopped you for a suspended license?
Maybe it's real love. maybe they really love one another. They were going to walk together through life. They were going to build a life together. Maybe, I don't know.
And I'm okay with people that want to build a life, but I can't have you leveraging your daddy's hard-earned money that he basically lost his life over in the end to make sure you had a great life for the rest of your life. You know? So
that's it. That's it.
All of that together, what I'm trying to pull that, because I'm like, why are you talking about Biggie's Mills? It's this love with this culture that is killing us, that is locking us up. Like when I meet men today, if you in your from age 30 and under and you talking about drugs, dealing, anything stupid, I'm looking at you like you a caveman. I'm looking at you like maybe you can't read. Something's wrong.
Well,
It's such an obvious culture hiccup trap.
Yeah, but a lot of times we want to emulate caveman culture and the actual caveman. So, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but I said on the bottom of the podcast that we have drug dealer morals and European values, and it just keeps us trapped in this perpetual hamster wheel.
Say it again. The By the Hood podcast, when did it release?
Oh, it was a while ago. Maybe a month ago.
Okay.
2 months at best. Yeah.
Well, I'll share it on the community wall if I find it.
Yeah.
You give it to me too.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Again, people in the comments saying no one remembers the crack epidemic, but you watch old documentaries, it's very sad and a warning. Yeah. I mean, I was having this conversation with an older Black guy. He was a couple years older than me. And I was saying, well, why did that happen? I was so confused. And he was like, well, Ericka, crack. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, what do you mean you forgot? You're not that much younger than me, are you?
I'm not. I'm late 30s. I'm late 30s and I'm from a cop family, but he's 40 something. And he was talking about how this guy was just at home by himself. And I was like, well, where was his mom? You know, da, 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 da. And I just said it flippingly, like not even thought process. He looked at me like, crack, Ericka, the crack epidemic? His mom was on crack? I was like, oh yeah, I remember now. You know, even now.
His mom was on crack, or he might have been someone like me who mom was at work. So.
No, he was saying she was gone for days and weeks. And
my mother, very similar. She was working out of state at one point. So, yeah.
You were a teenager?
I was a teenager.
So
it happened more. Yeah, she was working in North New Jersey. Mm-hmm. I was like 15. I stayed home by myself. She had to work. She was like, you want to go stay with your daddy? I was like, no. Now, when I look back on it in hindsight, that was a severe
That's dangerous.
parental mistake. But it is what it is, right? That happened more often than people realize.
For sure. I'd have dragged you to your daddy's. I'd be like, baby, he eat me up out of house and home. I ain't even there. He got to go with you.
Yeah.
Was they in the same state or he was in a different state too?
Yeah, my dad was around.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was definitely in my life.
Okay. You know, because some people dad be living in New York and they was in Philly. Like I hear that story all the time. I'd be like, New York, you better come on down.
Yep. That's a fact.
So there's these stories out here, and it's almost like we've forgotten that there's uncles and dads and people that are, some of them still locked up. You know what I mean? So it's just unfortunate. Now, somebody said, I was just asking my sister the other day, why do people still do crack? Then I saw some crackheads having a good time downstairs. Stop. 2 doors down when I was back in Detroit. Jasmine said at this point, if you're seeking drugs, you're trying to die. That's what we talked about, the escapism. It's almost like that's extreme, you know?
But here's the thing, right? And I'm not trying to be funny, but to a certain degree, all of us we have some level of privilege.
Yeah.
And I was definitely exposed to crack, and I would say privileged because I had smart people around me. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who, like you said, are seeking escapism because life is really hard for them, or they don't know how to cope, or they weren't taught any coping mechanism. So it's really hard for them. There's a lot of people that are depressed. Why do you think so many people smoke weed? People have a hard time dealing with reality. It's just hard for them.
Well, I also think people suffer from anxiety and don't get diagnosed.
And then you beat me to the punch, right?
Okay,
I was
sorry.
Say, we have undiagnosed mental health illnesses throughout every community, and the drugs just exacerbate it.
we unfortunately have a family member who came back from Iraq, and we just could not get this person help, and they moved to Colorado just so they could have medical marijuana access. Period. Like they just were like, North Carolina is not, Fort Bragg is not playing with you. Military is somewhat helpful, um, but they overprescribe and all that other stuff. So he literally took him and his family relocated to Colorado.
Y'all
So
making me feel old tonight.
why?
How do you say her name?
Uh,
Azilina?
something.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't mean to butcher your name. But she says, I barely remember the crack epidemic. And these entertainers are younger than me. They probably think it was a rumor at this point.
I would almost agree.
But for me, like when you watch my broadcast, I talk about the crack era all the time because it shaped me so much. Like I have vivid experiences, both bad and good, of crack, let's say crack affiliated type activities. I never smoked crack, but it was all around me. I had drug dealer friends who lived on my block. I had crackheads who lived on my block. It was funny. I was with my father yesterday doing chores. He had me cutting trees and roots. And a friend of mine that I grew up with, he also works there too from time to time. And I referenced the guy from my neighborhood that we call Buckets. He was a crackhead who watched the car with one bucket. Cleanest car ever. But this was the late 80s, early 90s.
And from a lot of people I spoke with and heard from, they were like, it was, you have party drugs, pill. Like now we think pills. They were saying at the time people didn't know how deadly it was. Same thing with opioids. They pass something out, people are partying, and then they're just addicted, losing money left and right, addicted to this thing. You know what I mean?
If you ever want to get a picture of what it was like, I think Snowfall, the show Snowfall on FX, does a pretty good job of illustrating how it was.
I think my sister watches that show. I watch videos from Philadelphia, that one roll y'all have, that street over there. I'll be like, is that drug? They're like, that's heroin, Ericka. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, Kensington, yes.
Yeah, they literally, they make YouTube money off of just filming that street and putting it up on YouTube. It's very sad.
Yeah.
It just terrifies you. Like, damn, I can't even go to Philly, get a Philly cheesesteak. They're like, no, that's on the other side of town. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's one particular section, but it's very interesting. If you watch The Wire, if anybody watched The Wire, when you talk about Amsterdam, it's almost like they did the same thing in this community. It's not the same because I know somebody's going to call me out on it.
Right.
No, they're not letting folks just sell drugs openly. They do have some arrests, but when you look at, if you ever look at, what is it, Kensington Beach? That's a Instagram page there, and you ride through there, you literally will see people nodding out by the train station, on the bus stops, just on non-traffic streets. You will see people doing heroin or what they call dope in the middle of the day. It's very sad, very sad.
We unfortunately know a young lady who is like a school janitor, and she literally got caught with like a bunch of fentanyl. I was like, this is the worst time for you to be caught selling drugs. They're gonna take your kids, they're gonna take your house, they taking everything. So I know her family's doing a mad scramble, and called our family, who's a bunch of retired cops, and they're like, girl, that's you got the wrong time. This is when prosecutors really trying to say she done brought fentanyl here. That's
Yep.
it. And she's like, this is just the worst time for you to do this. And so, and it's unfortunate because we know their father and he works so hard. And it's like, damn, girl, did you need some money? We'd have gave you some money. Like, that's crazy. So, and fentanyl is one of those things, you touch it, you can die. Like, there's countless videos I'm watching of police officers touching something and falling over. And then the other police officer just knows, like, okay, what did he touch? Like, they just start backing up from the area.
Right.
So it's very scary.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize your skin is a body organ that by touch, you can get high by touching a drug.
Well, and to me, that's what my whole thing with police officers, I'm like, put the gloves on before you even start digging at somebody's stuff, touching somebody's car, period. Like, people just nasty. You ever seen somebody's car dirty? Okay, I ain't trusting them. So Alexa said most people indulge in escapism, food, movies, work, just some vices are less detrimental than others.
Very true. Very true.
This is true. I said I'm from the South. I said we indulge in biscuits and sweet tea like nobody business. We are hiding our depression with chicken and everything else in the South. I remember watching this movie on Mississippi and I just felt sorry for these people. But every one of them was eating good. They was eating good. And I was like, no, that's escapism. Um, so my last one that will close our show with this last 10-minute combo is, which we may agree, disagree, which I think is good. I like that. Andrew Tate, y'all. Andrew Tate he got like 11 billion views or something to that effect.
He's killing the game.
Huh?
He's killing the game.
Well, it's one of those things where I feel like we are in an attention, and many men have spoke on this in a better way than I'm going to, but they're like, there is this lack of masculinity, and someone comes in and is like hyper masculine. This thing happened in the 80s too. Remember Andrew Dice with the jacket?
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay, right? It's literally a 2000s versions of Andrew Dice Clay. They come in talking about women. I'm gonna slap some woman around, like, shut up, chick, over there. Kind
funny? You were spot on. He does. When I watch him, I always think he reminds me of somebody.
Andrew Dice
Clay.
And
it is Andrew Dice Clay.
I'm gonna pull up Andrew Dice Clay for those who are so young out here.
A cadence. His cadence is very similar to his. Forget about it.
Okay, let me screen share it back. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. So Andrew Dice Clay, just as a young person, like, I don't know if you guys remember Al Bundy's show where he had the He-Man Woman Haters Club, right? And it was a joke and it was funny. Andrew Dice Clay was that He-Man Woman Haters Club where he came out in the 80s, and he's older now, but go back and look at his old stuff. I mean, he looks older now. Everybody ages at some point, but his whole stick was like, shut up, be quiet, sit down, broad, and it was a turning point in where I keep telling y'all the pendulum always swings back, right? We can be like, rah, rah, woman, you can do it. Andrew Clay came at the end of the working mom with the shoulder pads, you know what I mean? And here comes Andrew Dice Clay, like, shut up, broad. And he would sell out shows and he would be famous as can be. And Andrew Dice Clay now is Andrew Tate. He's saying these outrageous things, this very much pushback culture against women. And people say, oh, he's misogynist. And, you guys are hating the message. A lot of his stuff was trolling, in my opinion. I feel like he was trolling. He's saying stuff that's, get a rise out of people. Just like we make fun of all the black podcasters, like, this woman better be washing these dishes. Like, just stuff that gets rises out of people. But you don't really take them literal. Now, the problem with him is some of the stuff he was talking about as far as sex trafficking and sex work and sex culture in Romania, and why he's over there because he won't get rape charges and stuff like that. Where you're like, that's borderline. That's creepy. Not a joke. Yeah, that's not a joke. And so, basically his career kind of started off UK reality show Big Brother in 2016, where a video emerged of him beating a woman with the belt. Though both Tate and his ex said she was a person in the video, they later said the encounter was consensual. So he became famous through kind of a rough kind of attitude. Let's just say it that way, right? So if you read this article, it will make you cringe. I mean, talking about recruiting young girls and tricking them with money and webcam stuff in Romania. And essentially he moved to Romania because he felt like, he said, partly due to relatively relaxed law enforcement around sexual assault, and continued to run his business from there. Now, they raided his home in 2022 in connection to a sexual trafficking investigation after a woman said she had been held captive at his home.
In Romania?
Yes.
Wow.
And so, and the post appeared to address the raid include the caption officer. He said, I think we can all agree bitches love to lie. As of April 2022, the investigation is still ongoing. Tate also manages a subscription-based website called Hustlers University, where he purports to educate paid subscribers on various ways to make money. Now listen, y'all. This is my problem with the banning of Andrew Tate from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're going to create a bigger monster. You're going to create a bigger monster. Anytime you ban something, it's like, people are like, why are we banning it? I need to go see it right now. Right? Like this is the beginning of a monster. Right? But go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk.
So you think that it's okay to yell fire in a theater full of people and there's no fire?
If we are going to say that we stand by free speech, we have to let the Klan person talk. We have to let the racist talk. We have to let the crazy person talk. We have to let Tariq Nasheed call the Africans crazy names. We got to do it all.
They can do it all, right? Nobody is taking Trump's free speech away, Tate's free speech away, Elon's free speech away. These are all private businesses, right? So you can say whatever you want outside. You can say whatever you want. You can write an article. You can do it on your own platform. But no, you can't just say all kinds of crazy things on these public platforms that rely on advertisements, because then they're going to lose advertisements. And then it's going to shut down for everybody. And then Google doesn't make their money. Zucks doesn't make their money. The Chinese people don't make their money with TikTok. That's how it goes. But I think it's and the Trump thing, right? I think it's so intellectually lazy that he feels that he's being treated unfairly. You instigated a whole freaking riot, and you think you can just say whatever you want to say and not take accountability for it and just shun it.
Well, he did ask them to call for the National Guard, and they said no.
How many hours later?
He did that early in the day. It's on record.
Yeah, it's on
and
record.
They said no.
After they got started, though.
You know what I mean? And here is this right here. And then again, I said this earlier, and here we go again. I'm gonna have to teach y'all. I'm gonna have to give you a pat on the butt. The same people here on Tate said nothing about Cardi P admitting her exploits on men with Spanish fly, so to speak, and having Transformers do strange things to them while unconscious. No smoke there. Serious B, this is our issue in the community. Black men are on a master pedestal of crying. Women do it too. Women do it too.
Two wrongs.
And I mean, it's just disgusting. It is disgusting, the level of like, hey, this man is doing something bad. Black men, well, women do it too. And it's like, will we just hold the fucking L? Hold your nuts. Quit crying every day.
But as a black man,
we already tackled Cardi B.
But guess what? White men do the same thing too.
And this is a white man we're beating up. And they're like, but they do it too. I'm like, we are beating. We literally were on the internet like, damn, shame on Cardi B. Everybody was saying, well, damn, Bill Cosby, and we said, damn on Cardi B. Cardi B shut up. Her record label made her not say nothing else on it. Like, there's this desire so bad to go back to kindergarten. She hit me too. Stop.
But I think a lot.
This is why Tate's famous.
I agree, but I think a lot of people won't admit this. Like, really, and they won't think about it. We absolutely live in a misogynistic, paternalistic culture, meaning that women are undervalued. Black women especially are undervalued. They're looked at as chattel property to this day. White women are undervalued. They don't look at them as chattel property, but they're definitely undervalued. The issue though with white women is they're always going to stay on that line. They're not going to go against their husbands.
Yeah, because they have husbands. Let's really go there though. Can we go there for a second? They have husbands.
We can.
They have somebody paying a bill.
Yeah, we can.
That's what they have. So they got to be, he paying a bill? You got a sister out here, not nobody paying her bills. It's hard to stand in solidarity in the rain by yourself and no money. I mean, it's, and money is an important part of this too, because what happened last election, it was as the white women voted, the election went, right?
Absolutely.
So when women were like, this is too loud, aka, supposedly when Donald Trump was too loud, they voted in the Mr. Potato Head. You know what I'm saying? So apparently it matters what women think, right?
Absolutely.
So, but here's the problem with this. And Ryan's already saying, y'all are hitting on it. Free speech is one thing. This man has an enormous platform, including sexual violence against young girls and women. Yes.
Facts.
Ryan W. He has other people distribute his videos on other pages. This is where I'm going with this. When you ban something, now you encourage this rah, like they're banning it. Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump won because y'all banned him everywhere.
Right.
This is election is a fraud, right? It became when now you can't even talk about the election as fraud or your channel would get taken down. So now it even encourages that thought process. Now I told people this is going to be like Al Gore. Remember Al Gore 10 years later, everybody can kind of agree, yeah, he won Florida. That was kind of foul, right? If there's
Don't forget, he created the internet.
That's right, he created.
Yes, we're on Al Gore's internet.
We're on Al Gore's internet.
So sarcasm for those who don't know. Sarcasm.
So 10 years from now, if we go say there was a few elections that didn't seem right, there were people who sued in Chicago who fathers were in rest homes comatose, and they said he voted, but he's been in coma for 6 months. He couldn't have voted. These things are going to come out in the wash, y'all. It just ain't going to happen year one. It may be year 5 and 10. We go, okay, there was some funny business here and there. And this is what I think of this media. When we start saying, I'm gonna ban this person, you immediately flame the fans of just unbalanced. Everything's a conspiracy. Like you feed that when you ban.
So somebody comes on your house on your steps and they yell, kill all black people. Do you allow them to stay on your steps? He's using his First Amendment right speech, but do you allow him to do that on your property?
We have the right on these platforms to inform people of the rules. If you on my porch and you touch my door, pew pew pew. Now he hasn't touched the door. I can call police.
No. But it's not just the door. If they are on your property line,
yeah.
Do you allow that to happen?
Well, depends on what state. If I'm in Texas, pow, 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 pow. Now, if I'm in New York, please help me somebody. If I'm in New Jersey, Florida, Baltimore, Maryland, these whack gun laws, then you might have to play differently by the rules there. But
you got my point. Property rights, right? You have to protect the establishment. You can't just have crazy people just saying all kinds of stuff. The blowback is going to be worse than the Trump stands or the Andrew Tate stands, who are going to continue to spread this information around.
And so 3 people I wanted to add to this list when we were thinking about it. Jordan Peterson. They took him down, and then everybody went everywhere they could to go find his speeches and put up millions of videos. Farrakhan, they blocked Farrakhan. Then Brother Ben X kept saying they took my YouTube down. No, they took your YouTube down because you were sharing Farrakhan videos that they had just banned. And all you do when you ban something is make people go, I'm going to share it more, which made me, I'm being honest, 100%. I went and looked at Farrakhan videos when I did this ban thing. I said, well, let me go see what this man talking about. I'm not a Muslim. I just said, let me go watch it because they're banning it. If he's saying something against Jewish people, I will acknowledge it and leave it alone. But I watched tons of video. It sounded like somebody old black uncle. Pull your pants up. Cook dinner for your man. Take care of your community. That's all I heard on repeat. I was like, I'm looking for the dangerous. That's what you do. You draw people to these content when you block them.
I mean, I will admit there is a level of quote unquote martyrdom that occurs there, right? But what's the alternative? Just let them spew nonsense all year long, all day long? This man is talking about trafficking women.
Right. So, okay. So that could be the one, right? Say, listen, he's talked about trafficking women. That's what we banned him for. If you share his content and it's not about trafficking women, then and they get your video taken down, then what happens? At some point here, the danger is we've created these platforms to be news-ish, but not news. And so they're like, no, they're private, companies. They can take you down.
They are. And they're only news just because you and I share information of news on there. Mm-hmm. They're not new. They're not journalistic organizations by any stretch of the imagination.
John had a point. YouTube, Twitter, etc. has become TV or newspaper. It is media. Being banned from it is being shut down. They are utilities. That's one way. Cyrus
utilities are regulated by states. I wouldn't call them utilities in that way.
Okay. So Series B said the pushback, though, freedom of speech doesn't include freedom of consequence. There will be more of them copycat form and same punishment for them.
I mean, I would agree with that. You can't yell right. Excuse me, tongue twisted. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater and there's no fire, and then people get trampled and act like you didn't do it.
Well,
and
Series
act like you're not. There's no accountability there.
Yeah, Series B is bordering. You know what time it is, y'all? It's called the block ministry.
Oh, you would block him for that?
I'm not gonna block. He got one more statement. He's like, well, brothers didn't say anything when Cosby got straight up prosecuted and didn't actually admit to anything. But Cardi wasn't even touched, and that makes us cry babies. Then here comes Sunny Days.
I'm a brother, and I had a problem with
Cosby.
the way Cosby was prosecuted.
Lots of people did.
Yeah.
Years later, but we ain't take that girl that caused Emmett Till to die. We ain't take her. You can have a disagreement with somebody without pulling a whataboutism. It's so annoying. It is. That's the whole point. Every time I make a show and I say, let's get our economics together. Let's go buy property overseas. Let's go buy real estate. Let's go this. What about the women's? What about them? This is why we get, you got seas of people supporting everything black men do to the death of themselves. I mean, you got literally black women have channels like, yes, Kevin Samuels, yes, black men. And y'all will still be like, what about the women's? And it's like, what can we do here? These people must be left behind in our community at this point. I'm sorry. This is where I am on it.
Now, for some of these folks, that's their brothers, their cousins, their boyfriends, their lovers. Yeah. You want them to be left alone?
I have to be.
But will they be left alone? Right.
There's what's that comedian?
Theory and then there's application.
What Cat Williams say? He said, not Cat Williams. It was the other guy. It was comedian said, when men feel emotions, people die. Because men are like, you gonna listen to me. And this is what this is. This is the roar from men. You're gonna listen to me, girl. Yeah, okay. We hear you. We've acknowledged you. We've heard you. What in this equation can we do? Right? Exactly. Black women I know ain't going against their husband. They got a husband. Keyword, their husband. Okay. Y'all keep missing that one particular word, husband. Legal husband, not boyfriend you've been engaged to for 27 years. You don't care what Jerome talking about. You ain't been married to him. So Tate said he has his own platform. He'll be all right. Now this is the thing, Smart Money TV. This is where we go with it. The Nation of Islam has their own platforms. They have their own podcast. They have their own, was it Roku TV? And a couple other things. They have their own farm
or something like that. Yeah.
But their argument is, this is where the people are. I need to be able to recruit where the people are. And this is where we get into that conversation of paid advertising. Paid advertising. So
but I think there's another conversation if we're just talking about Farrakhan, right? The other conversation is the black community really going to support people that are advocating for them? Because if Farrakhan's no longer on YouTube, why wouldn't they go there to wherever he is, NFA, wherever. So.
For sure.
I just saw an article about Andrew Tate. He says he closes his Hustlers University after his big social media ban. So I don't know if does he have another platform?
I would close it because I would be scared of people coming in there and recording what I'm saying and selling it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like they're doing with Trump.
Yeah. Okay. Again, the hold your nuts thing is from Tariq Nasheed. Each community has to hold its own nuts. These arguments y'all have in a silo, we don't care. Like it's economic. So why do we care about Andrew Tate? The thought Andrew Tate is making money off of these very vocal, violent, misogynistic, I'm just using the words they use in articles, trafficking, right? Conversations is the part we're angry at. It's the money part. He's making money off something that is supposed to be illegal. That's my angle. But you can correct me. I feel free to be open to that.
What I would say also, right, in this era, in this non-grabbing your nuts or non-holding your nuts era, A lot of people are very impressionable.
Mm.
How many people went to DC in January 6th because the orange monkey told them to? You know, there was no logic behind it. There was no reason behind it. Their cult leader said to do it. The cult did it. Andrew Tate has a massive following. You know, a lot of these people do. A lot of these people follow blindly. I mean, the acts of terror and violence once Trump got in office went through the roof. Now, I would say, and I'm sure you would agree too,
they were wilding under Obama.
Right. They were already rallying. This just started to get recorded even more.
Right.
But I think it got a little bit more absurd as he got in office. And people liked the commentary and they were emboldened. So how many people are going to be emboldened now they see Andrew Tate talking about women should be
choked and slapped,
slapped, treated like a dog? How many other people are going to say, you know what? I like this guy. I want to drink his red Kool-Aid. I want to do what he does.
I think banning him earns that. Because now, look, somebody just said he's banned, but I see his videos every 5 seconds. I know, because I see him too. I'll be like, y'all can't ban. It's like Spotify, right? When you're on Spotify and like you're playing some artist music, but it's been remixed, you know what I mean? Like, and you have it on your YouTube channel, they can't get you for a copyright strike because it's remixed. This is what people are doing as we speak. They're remixing some Andrew Tate video they done downloaded somewhere, right?
I mean, look at it. And I mean, to Diamond Dave's point, right? They tried to ban Luke, made him a platinum artist. He was a local artist before they gave him a free pass. There's no such thing as, free press, thank you. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
They could always be worked up. But again, I mean, it's nuance, right? Do you just let this person stand on your steps and yell out all kinds of absurdities?
I think it's the money part. No. I think it's the money part. We got David Duke out here. We got what's the other?
I would agree with that. I mean, I said that. I said as much earlier, right? Yeah. They don't want to lose their advertisers. I get it. Yeah,
you have who's the guy I'm thinking of, y'all? It's not Jordan Peterson. I can't think of it. But you know, again, TV is regulated to promote free speech to prevent a monopoly. If YouTube, Twitter becomes a monopoly, it needs to be broken up. Again, they're kind of towing that line of private, you know.
And what happened to Rockefeller when they broke up his enterprise?
He just made more Rockefellers, right? Didn't they make like little small monopolies?
Well, that's when Rockefeller became a billionaire.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there's this video, and I think I've told you this before. When Obama was in, he was going to make this new law that you're going to get taxed at $250,000, right? This guy, white dude, was a millionaire. The video went viral, millions on YouTube, early YouTube. And he said, oh, okay, Obama's going to tax me now instead of $1 million at $250,000. No worries. I'll break my company up into 4 companies. Or I'll break it up into 5, so each one makes $200,000. And there's levels to this. But basically, he was saying this is going to be the advertising arm. This is going to be the shipping and receiving arm. And people were like, oh, that's silly. And I'm like, Walmart does that. Target does that. All these companies do that. That wasn't silly. That was a real thing people do.
They do it with overseas subsidiaries.
There you go. And here's the thing, Eddie Zilla. Here's my thing, Ed Zilla. Sorry. That's what people say. Oh, I'm going to create this alternative platform. Sorry. The eyeballs are on YouTube. The eyeballs are on Facebook. The eyeballs are on Twitter, TikTok. They're going to still want to be there. Same thing with Nation Islam. They got a radio. They got a TV channel and everything. Where do they get the recruitment from? The main channels. That's anybody. They get it from the main channels. What's his name? You guys, Rush Limbaugh. When Rush Limbaugh went out and bought all that AM time in the middle of nowhere, you know, he needed more people to hear it. So he had got these 10 5-year deals, 20-year deals with some of these radio stations. And so they're still playing his old stuff to this day on some of those platforms.
And he was the OG of all of this.
Yes. Yes.
And I hate to admit this. His story is actually very interesting.
His life story overall.
How he figured out how to dominate radio, how he figured out to get advertisers because he gave it away for free after he put out all this money up front. Right, he got Snapple. Snapple became his main sponsor. There are a lot of lessons there.
Yeah. He said Andrew needs to be banned from TikTok because that's where the most impressionable teens are.
Mm,
They said the whataboutism is equivalent to a Karen. It really is. That's I hope the FBI is watching him because his talking points are scary. Payment companies can go block him well time for PBO.
P.O. Box.
Thank you. My mouth is gone. Dangerous. Here's my thing too. I tell people this. The interviews is what makes the people go crazy, right? When I sit here and tell my digital real estate students every time I say, you want to pull up your product or service, go reach out to 50,000 podcasts and get on them.
Yep.
I'm not saying pay low. I ain't talking about the payo, the
Payola.
payola. I ain't talking about that. I'm just talking about reach out first, email. And if you in my class, you know what I'm talking about. These interviews are what launched them because the person who interviews you now tries to create snippets, right? So a lot of my videos right now, we have a guy on staff. He's just going to create like 34 snippets out of my past couple videos, right? And so that's what these podcasters do, and that's really what blew Tate up is these mid-caught sentence tidbits, and this is what made it have 11 billion views, I think, on TikTok.
Jeez.
So I mean, it's out there. So this person said KS was palatable. The next version that fills the vacuum will be worse. Yeah, Diamond Dave talked about this and he did a really good video on it. That's why I'm saying let these people speak, because then it's like, you're not letting us speak. We're gonna hear us roar. We're men, and you're gonna hear us. And we hear y'all every day, man. What's up? What's going on? Like calm down. Somebody said this is 30, 40-day cycles. 30 months it'll be something else. Probably. Somebody said we're only going after Tate for his femme hate comments. Now this is not femme hate, Eddie. He's literally talking about trafficking, sexual assault, holding people down, holding people against his will, creating pornos in Romania because they won't arrest him for sexual assault. Like that's not borderline, hey, I'm just being rough on chicks. That's crossing the line there. But go ahead. I see you making a face.
But he's not advocating for men to rise up and be protectors of their women and families. I think men already know that. I don't know that men need to be told that. But again, some people like these quote unquote archetypes, and we've always liked these quote unquote, I hate this term, but alpha males, that everybody just wants to champion and get behind, whether it's some white haired guy with blue eyes and dark hair or whatever. They always love them. From Elvis to Brando.
Elvis dyed his hair.
I didn't even know that. But
he was a blonde.
Wow.
He shoe polished at first. That's why they were calling him greasy. Because he was poor. He was a poor white person. He literally put shoe polish in his dang on hair. Goofy. Damn Dave said healthy masculinity is not promoted or rewarded on large scale. As a result, the void gets filled by bad agents. Just my opinion. Yeah. And also if you look at it, like everybody makes dads to be goofy, the dad bod, the laughing jokes, he's corny, he's boring. And it's unfortunate. It's just like moms, they make moms to be butt of jokes all day, but not as bad as dads.
But in a large sense, right? Men are not allowed to be vulnerable either, though. And so we're not allowed to show emotion, right? According to, we're not allowed to lose control. We're not allowed to, listen to our women, right? If we do any of these things, we are then deemed unworthy and not having nuts. So thus not having any nuts to hold. So it's a hard thing, right? If we're just talking about overall stereotypes a lot of times. Yeah. That's why a lot of men won't seek mental health therapy.
Right.
Because they don't want to be ostracized and looked down upon. So it's rough. It's rough across the board.
The Whisper app, I don't know if you remember that when that came out during the pandemic. And this is the thing, I've told people this. I remember they wrote this article that men, as far as like amount of touches from other people, hugs, compliments, is like at all-time lows in our generation for just lack of brotherhood. Again, you got to think about the generation before us all did the army together. The silent generation, like everybody was mandatorily drafted. Even the 70s, a lot of draft. 80s, 90s, you start to have this kind of disintegration of community, family, etc. And they were saying how men are at the all-time lows as far as communication, community, etc., etc. And they put out this whisper app where you could whisper how you were feeling, trapped in the house because of the pandemic. And at first it was like a joke app, but literally the company had so many like desperately sad, depressing, like voice notes that they were like, they partnered with, what's that? Talkspace and another mental health thing. And they were like, it was just scaring the staff because they would release some of the snippets, or type up stuff on the app. Like you could hear some of them, but the voice would be altered. And it just scared them so much that they were like, this is a problem. To the point that they were like really like reaching out with mental health companies to partner. So there's a male emotions thing out here. We just are not able to, I don't know, wrap our head around it. Do you know what I mean?
And I mean, for the Black community, it's even worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we are dealing with generations upon generations of unresolved emotional baggage. And so a lot of times it's even worse. So we talk about drug use. Mm-hmm. We talk about, those forecasters. So there are some forecasters for certain things. For example, they knew what was going to happen when Bill Clinton signed that crime bill. That's very well documented. Mm-hmm. Jesse Jackson, while folks give Jesse a lot of flack, and deservedly so in some regards, but he was like one of the, and by the way, a lot of Black people rallied for and championed this crime bill that Bill Clinton put out. But Jesse Jackson was one of the only people to say, hey, this bill is not a good idea. But Jesse doesn't get credit for that.
Listen, I have thoughts on Jesse Jackson that I will reserve. That's the end of that.
I said some of the stuff is.
I know. I'm gonna read these last two super chats, and we're gonna go. The old drap trope was beta. Men aren't going nowadays to some degrees. Yeah, like listen, the most famous Instagram dads are people that are like lifting weight, muscular CrossFit dad stuff. There is the strong. So here for me, it's such a conundrum. I grew up in military towns around military men who are muscular, strong, fit, mustaches, Black dudes with the mustaches in the 80s, and the camo mustache, like, what's up, brother? With the WWE mustaches. And so to see this like whole other civilian world where dads were like softs, I don't relate to it. So, but apparently that was a thing, So again, let's clarify. Andrew Tate is not Black. He's 1/4 Black, not half Black. His mom is white. His dad is biracial. That's a white man.
Not according to Klan rules.
Yeah, here's the thing. Andrew Tate is not Black.
I don't
Let's
know what
be very
he is.
clear. He doesn't identify as Black. When they ask him, he does say it, but he doesn't identify Black. He did shave his head and have the little goatee thing going. Let's not try to do that. Let's not try to make him on our team if he don't want to be. Okay, but let's not. That's the worst. I hate seeing that. Apparently this is JT. Is this actual JT, y'all, or is this a fake channel?
What's
For
up,
real?
JT?
Okay, shout out to my two favorite YouTubers. Can y'all help me get back on IG? Trolls keep taking me down. Man,
I thought you got back. We talked the other day. I saw you were back up. Yeah, JT's got a lot of enemies.
Dang, that's sorry about that. Here's this. Sorry, hold on. Real life. If you 5'6" or 5'7" male unaccomplished, what choice do you have other than rant about women's? Get taller or become successful? Mark, when I went to Earn Your Leisure Fest.
Listen, man, I'm 5'9". I ain't that far from that, man.
I went to Earn Your Leisure Fest. I felt like a giant woman. I was like, there's a lot of Black men that are 5'5". And so you got to let that go. At some point, sisters, if you already 5'2" and he 5'5", what does it matter? I'm 5'7".
They want a taller man.
Everybody wants 6 feet tall. It don't exist. I was walking with Andy by his houses. He's 6'2". He was a giant in the crowd at Earn Your Leisure. Giant. I was like, damn. What's going on? So, the average Black man's under 5'9". Let that shit go, y'all. Let it go. Like, I don't know, y'all looking for these Amazonian basketball players. It's ridiculous. Sunny Days. I understand how Tate is surrounded by women that signal something to young men that can't get women. I can agree. Okay, so let me see. There was one other super chat. Did I miss it? Okay. Last one. Tate and RP dudes. What is RP? Please clarify. Are right though. Men shouldn't allow themselves to be pacified or made docile. again, I think he's trolling. I think he part of this whole there's another black guy. I'm not gonna pick on him because y'all say I pick on him all the time. He is like, yeah, I'm an alpha male. My wife is young and hot. Well, kind of find out his wife was older than him and she was a baby mama when she married him. And so everybody's like, you're a liar. You lied to us.
They all
How
lie.
dare you?
They all lie. Like, here's the thing, man. Social media is not real.
It's not.
A lot of people are putting on frauds, perpetrating a fraud, putting on fronts, and they project these images that people like.
Somebody said our pill is red pill. Thank you so much. I didn't want to misconstrue him. I did not want to misconstrue somebody out here for what they were saying. So, you know, it just was one of those things. So, Ken, that's what I had for y'all today. I had to go there. Listen, I didn't say no names. I didn't say a name. I'm not messy like that. I don't
even know who that is.
You don't have to. You know, what's funny is these people don't deal with black women and they talk bad about black women. They're like, you don't even deal with black women. Shut your mouth. So the average man in America is 5'9". I don't understand the 6 foot. Yeah, the average man in America. But even more so in black communities. I don't know where that all black men were basketball players. No, honey. When I go out here in this world, most black men are 5'9" and under. Like, just short. Just not tall. That's all. 5'9" is not short, but I'm just saying it's not 6 feet. Gotta let it go. So anyway, talk to us. Tell us where they can find you, Mr. Ellis. Thank you for coming on last minute.
No, thank you. Thank you for, the queen said come and I came. I guess I'm a blue pill dude. I don't know, or beta guy. I'm confused by all of it. I'm
blue
old,
pill, purple pill, orange pill, crazy pill. You're married, taking care of your family, loving your family. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just try to put good out in the world, good karma. But you can find me on YouTube at The Finance Rebel. You can find me on all platforms at The Finance Rebel. And thank you for having me, Ericka.
All right. Listen.
Grand Rising, my queen.
Y'all crack me up in here. They're like, Meghan Markle. Don't talk about Meghan Markle. So listen, thank you guys. There's 321 people here. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Also, the Panama tickets will be out tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll send out an email. It just is what it is, y'all.
Ericka, you got to do me a favor, though.
For sure.
You got to watch PPP Long Gone.
He sent me this link, y'all. Tubi is so ghetto. It's just ghetto. So anyway.
But it depicts the situation to the T.
Okay.
It's that funny.
I'll try to make it through it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for supporting the channel. This is your girl, Ericka Class Clown Blog. We got 3 more days before we are gone off onto the sunset with our man. I'm happy. I'm gone in life. I'm living. I'm finishing construction projects. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you.